Good morning, everybody. It is the 29th of December. Shore team has been traveling, so I finally got home and time for a video. We've only got 5 minutes for this video, so let's jump right in. So if you've been watching a couple of these videos already, you'll understand that we use a split screen here on our forecast model, so we can look at two different forecast models at the same time. And if we look at it now, the green dot is Richard right now. This is 1 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. That's where Richard is sitting right now. And as you can see, he's got screaming southeasters giving him a hard time. In fact, let's find out exactly how he's doing. I have just picked up a video Richard sent through to us of current conditions. And let's have a look at that video. So the video doesn't show exactly how extreme it is because it's beautiful blue skies, but it's blowing about 30 knots right now there. And if you look in the background, you can see breaking waves every now and again, which is the biggest risk for Richard right now. And at about midnight tonight, Thursday midnight tonight, he's going to have 4.5-meter waves and about 40 knots of wind gusts. So it means full breaking waves breaking into the boat. And the big question now is, do we run with these conditions and keep moving northwest as we have been? Or at what point do we decide to go into the sea anchor, which is basically an underwater parachute, turn the boat into the wind and stop the drift and take the waves on the nose? That's our interesting dilemma at the moment. But Richard's doing really well. Progress is fantastic. This is the wind we want. One of the questions we get asked often, though, is why is Richard going northwest when Salvador is due west of us, off in this direction? Well, the real reason is this is the way the trade winds blow, and Richard doesn't have sails. He's human-powered, so his ability to cross the wind is really, really difficult. So he's basically running with the conditions, and he's trying to fade left. And if we zoom out a little bit, we can see here is the southern Atlantic. You can see how the winds blow across. This is Salvador over here. And as he moves north, this wind will bend, and he'll follow this wind and move across. But we do need to be careful. If he goes too far north, the wind bends to the right back to Africa. We don't want to get him caught in that. So we will bend a little bit that way. But this hopefully is the last big whoops. Hopefully this is the last big blow that Richard's going to have to deal with. Let's zoom in a bit more. And let's move my head out of the way. And let's see what happens as we scroll forward on the weather. So let's bring this down so Richard's green dot's more in the middle. So as we can see, tonight things get pretty hectic, and then tomorrow things start to ease. Now, this little green dot will be moving slowly northwesterly downwind. So as he moves further north, things will ease off. Still pretty windy. And then kind of Saturday, things start to move and ease off. And I think if we're looking at Sunday things are starting to moderate for him. We're getting the greens, which is kind of lovely paddleable conditions. And at this point, I'll be pushing Richard to say, let's move west as hard as we can so we can start moving more into this bend. You'll see as we go more and more left here, the wind bends more to the west. So we want to slowly get more and more down here, well, in this case up here, so we can get more and more of this left bend. And as we go across, you can see how this wind tends to bend more and more and more to a easterly direction, which is going to then carry him westerly. So that's what Richard's got going on right now. Pretty wild conditions out there. Seems to be coping really, really nicely. But it's rough going. OCS is doing really well. No problems whatsoever. And he's going to have a rough couple of days, but come Saturday, Sunday, he's going to be back in the trade winds, and hopefully that is the last of the big winds we'll see. Maybe when we get close to the Brazilian coast, we might have a couple of weather systems to deal with then, but that's a long way away. Things are looking good. And we'll catch up with you soon. Cheers.